The night before my engagement party, my girlfriend Nina hosted a really loud party. Someone at the party asked her, "Aren't you worried Liam might call off the engagement after seeing this?" She sounded very confident when she answered, "He loves me too much. He wouldn't dare." The person pressed, "So what's it actually like dating the most traditional guy in our social circle?" Nina scoffed. "Two words, boring. I'm making a huge sacrifice for the family business." She added, "I'll have to spend the rest of my life with him, and just thinking about that is scary." Pretty big sacrifice, right? "You bet," she admitted. "I'm scared he'll turn me into a completely old-fashioned person. No way. I need compensation, maybe a yacht." I quickly turned off the voice recording and sat there, absolutely stunned, for about 5 seconds. Where did she get the nerve to be so sure that I couldn't live without her? I've always been a person who loves learning, is polite to everyone, and respects older people. I really don't bother anyone, but it seems these wealthy, spoiled kids look down on me because of how I choose to live. The day before our engagement celebration was just like any other for me. I went to my classes during the day, practiced the piano for an hour in the early evening, went for a run for 30 minutes, and tried on a few different suits to make sure I looked good for the big day tomorrow. I decided to head to bed early. While I was lying there, a message came in from someone I knew. It was a video that had been recorded in secret. The camera moved across a room filled with colorful lights and a lot of people. It looked like a very wild party happening at some huge villa, with most people wearing hardly anything. The video was from Marco, the son of a business partner of my mother's. He had really insisted on swapping phone numbers when we were having dinner together once. I added him just to be nice, but honestly, we weren't close, and we almost never talked. I didn't understand the point of the video, so I just sent him a question mark. Marco replied, "That's Nina throwing a bachelorette party behind your back, with all her loud friends and a bunch of random guys. It's way over the top." Then, he sent me a voice recording. The background was loud and chaotic, but I could clearly hear the conversation. Someone asked, "Aren't you worried Liam might call it off?" Nina's voice, full of arrogance, replied, "He loves me too much. He wouldn't dare." The person then asked, "So what's it like dating the most traditional guy in our circle?" Nina huffed. "Two words, boring. I'm sacrificing myself for the family business." She continued, "Spending a lifetime with him is terrifying. Big sacrifice, huh?" "You bet. I'm afraid he'll turn me old-fashioned. I need compensation, like a yacht." I turned off the recording and just sat there, stunned for a good 5 seconds. Seriously, where did she get the confidence that I was completely irreplaceable? Nina and I were introduced by our parents 6 months ago. Our families were about to start a major joint project. One evening at dinner, my father asked me, "Do you have a girlfriend at school?" I shook my head no. He followed up, "Is there anyone you like?" Again, I shook my head. "Well, then let's arrange a match for you," he said seriously. "Sure," I replied easily. My older brother laughed and said, "See, I told you. He's so lazy, he'll even let us pick his wife." My precious Liam, it's Nina who's truly lucky. My mother just sighed. Through that introduction, I learned a lot about Nina and her family. Her family had been working with ours for a while, and we all got along well. They had 2 daughters and were preparing the older one, Anna, to take over the family business. Nina's sister is 8 years older and is already involved in the company. Nina, on the other hand, lives the relaxed life of a rich, pampered kid. Her family is very straightforward, and her father isn't like most wealthy businessmen who have mistresses and illegitimate children. My father even praised him, saying, "He's a rare man with a clean record. Aside from being a little dull, he's equal to me." Because Anna is so much older, she really spoils her little sister. In wealthy circles, genuine, simple couples are hard to find. But Nina's family, like ours, keeps things simple with no family drama. Growing up, my parents and brother always loved and adored me. I always knew how much they cared. I was happy to let them handle things for me and simply enjoy their love. When it came to marriage, we discussed it when I became an adult. They were supportive of me finding love on my own, saying, "It's not just about the family's status." This made me appreciate how open-minded they were. Throughout college, many people showed interest in me, but I never felt a strong connection. So when I got into graduate school, I told them, "Why don't you find someone for me? I can't be bothered." I truly trusted that they would think of everything to find the right match. At first, they didn't take me seriously, but after I insisted, they believed I meant it. When looking for a match, they decided not to choose anyone who was in line for a family business role. My mother said, "Liam, I don't want you to be burdened. Just be happy being yourself." I agreed. My mother's hard work hasn't gone unnoticed. I don't have that much ambition, and just want to remain my family's cherished son. After my family checked out Nina's family situation, they approved. As for Nina herself, my brother said, "She's good-looking, but her personality? She just came back from studying abroad, so we don't know yet. But this is your decision. We'll support you in anything, but learning to assess people is a skill you need to master. You have to decide who is worth your time, especially the person you'll spend your life with." I nodded in agreement. Nina seemed pleasant at first, so I decided to give dating a try. After seeing Marco's video, I realized I barely knew Nina at all. I was actually relieved that tomorrow was only the engagement party. I was lucky I found out now and could call it off. I grabbed my phone and went to find my parents and brother. I showed them the video. "I want to cancel the engagement," I told them. They watched it and were just as furious. "Don't worry," my dad said. "I'm calling Mr. Liu right now." My mom was equally angry. "Nina always seemed nice, but who knew she was like this behind our backs? Who does she think she is, talking about our Liam like that?" My brother's face was truly angry, almost scary. My dad immediately sent the video to Nina's mother and called her to cancel the engagement. I never doubted for a second that they would fully support me. When we first started this whole matchmaking thing, my parents made it very clear that this was not about forming a business alliance. We weren't dependent on the Liu family. They just thought I would eventually need to get married, so they set me up with someone to see if it worked. "If it doesn't work out, just break up," was how my brother put it. "All right, it's all handled," my dad said, patting my shoulder reassuringly. "You don't need to worry about anything else. Get some sleep." I nodded and walked back to my room. Just as I lay down, Nina called. I could practically hear her teeth grinding through the phone. "Liam, you're calling off the engagement?" she demanded. "It's already off," I replied calmly. "Why? The video? Isn't it already sent to your mother? A bachelorette party? Just because of that?" she scoffed. "Just because of that? Calling you old-fashioned wasn't even wrong. What's the big deal if I have a bachelorette party before getting engaged? Is that some unforgivable crime?" Different values mean we can't be together. I kept my answer short and simple. "I don't agree to break up," she insisted. "You don't need to," I replied. And then I hung up. The next day was Saturday, and like I usually do, I went to the state library early. Right in front, Nina blocked my way. "Can we talk?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. I nodded. I didn't want this to drag on. Might as well settle it completely, once and for all. As soon as we sat down at a nearby cafe, a very bold guy walked up. "Hey, can I get your contact information?" he asked. He seemed to completely ignore me, staring directly at Nina. Nina glanced at me and smiled slyly. "You've got guts, huh? Aren't you afraid I'm taken?" He shrugged. "Taking my chances. What if he's just your brother sitting across from you? Plus, why worry about having a boyfriend if you're not married? I still have a chance." Nina took out her phone and let him scan her QR code. The guy left, looking very pleased. All that time, I just sat there without saying a single word. I never doubted Nina's popularity. I'm a person who likes good looks myself, and I was drawn to her appearance at first glance. When we were first introduced, Nina's looks were a perfect mix of youthful energy and maturity, with a sharp, proud air that only young women seem to have. A lot of guys get this urge to conquer that type of beauty, but not me. In terms of dating, I was willing to try it just because she was the most attractive person I had met in real life. I mean, I was in my 20s and hadn't dated anyone. She was my match, so why not give it a shot? I had seen this behavior before. People would often stare at my girl. Once at the movies, a guy boldly asked if I was her boyfriend. She immediately said, "Yep, I've got a boyfriend. You can leave now." She was always quite smug about her popularity, and would often ask me, "How does it feel having such a beautiful girlfriend? Feeling the pressure?" I would always play along and say, "I better keep a close watch on you." Now that we had broken up, she didn't have to pretend, and she added another guy right in front of me. "Let me ask you again. Are you sure you want to break up?" Nina asked, her eyes fixed on mine. "Yes, I'm sure." She seemed really angry. She suddenly stood up, took a deep breath, and then sat down again. "You saw it, right? People want me. I'm giving you one last chance to change your mind. Miss out now, and even if you beg me later, I won't come back." "Don't worry, I won't regret it," I assured her. "Liam..." She slammed her hand on the table, breathing heavily. "That guy asked for my WeChat, and I gave it to him. You have nothing to say?" "We're broken up. That's your freedom," I said sincerely. Fine, break up it is. We are done," she replied, clenching her teeth and storming off. The engagement was cancelled, and both families made a public announcement. I thought the conversation at the cafe wrapped things up with Nina. This chapter was closed. But 2 days later, Nina sent me a group invite. That's when I realized I hadn't deleted her yet. I was about to block her, but I noticed something familiar about the group name. Turning the World Upside Down. That name definitely sounded familiar. Suddenly, Marco's warning came back to me. "Liam, Nina doesn't even like you. There's this group with all those spoiled rich kids. My friend is in it and says they talk badly about you there. I tried to get in, but they wouldn't let me. The rule is no one outside that circle can join, but I've seen the chats. They mock you, say you're uptight, a puppet to your parents, an embarrassment to rich kids. I wanted to screenshot it, but my friend wouldn't allow it. They were all talking trash, Nina included. Never standing up for you. Believe me, Nina's not worth it. She's not the one." By the way, the group name is Turning the World Upside Down. Back then, I tried to sneak a peek at Nina's phone while she was using it, but never saw that group name. Plus, when I first got in touch with Marco, I noticed something was off. He was too eager, a bit too keen on me breaking up with Nina. I approached it with caution, never fully buying what he said because of his obvious agenda. I worried he might have some other motive. That's why I only kept him at a friendly distance. So now, seeing the name of the group chat reminded me of what Marco had said. Curiosity got the better of me, so I clicked to join. As soon as I entered, someone sent a rather mean-spirited welcome. "Simp," they said. I looked at their profile picture. I didn't recognize them, so they must be one of Nina's many friends. Anyway, they're always in a big group, so I still couldn't tell who was who. I'm not big on hanging out with Nina's friends. It's not that I look down on them for being aimless and idle. It's more about our conflicting personalities and habits. They're loud wherever they go, always either drinking or racing their expensive cars. Their quietest time is when they're playing poker at some exclusive club. Their lifestyle is just ridiculous, basically living upside down. They stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning, sometimes even all night, then sleep until the afternoon, after which it's time to party again. I went out with them twice and insisted on leaving by midnight. I usually go to bed by 11, so I can't handle their schedule. After that, no matter how much Nina invited me, I just wouldn't hang out with her friends anymore. I remember thinking back then, at least Nina's different from them. When Nina graduated from studying abroad, her sister gave her a small company to help her learn business management skills. Her sister even assigned 2 assistants to Nina, making sure she went to the office every day to handle affairs. If the company's performance dropped within 6 months, her sister threatened to take away a few of her favorite cars. To keep her cars, Nina diligently went to work every day. Her friends would tease her about being such a goody two-shoes. She only had weekends to play with them. Thinking about it now, birds of a feather really do flock together. If Nina wasn't like them, how could she hang out with them? Nina and her friends are all the same type of person. She added me to this group just to vent. What I thought was over, she still can't let go of. Maybe she's just upset that I canceled the engagement. Perhaps she thinks I embarrassed her. After the welcome message, "Simp," a shower of mocking images followed, most of them making fun of me. "Let's see the famous goody two-shoes. Does he dare drink now?" they taunted. "You believe that? He probably drinks in secret," someone else added. "Yeah, he claims he's never drunk. Makes me laugh. Never seen someone so fake," another sneered. Those messages brought back memories of that time I went to a bar with Nina. I usually prefer quiet places, so I avoid loud spots like that. The bar was noisy, with fast-paced music drowning everything out and giving me a headache. I was just about to step outside for some fresh air when Nina's friends pressured me to drink. They handed me a tsot, mixed drink, claiming it was specially made for me and very low in alcohol. I politely declined, saying I never drink. First, they laughed heartily, thinking it was a joke. Once they saw I was serious, they exchanged puzzled looks, then regarded me with obvious disdain. Their stares made me really uncomfortable. They didn't believe me and mocked me for being pretentious, but I was telling the truth. I haven't touched alcohol my whole life, not even fruit wine. Just like some people don't drink tea or coffee, I don't drink alcohol. Is that so hard to understand? Who says you absolutely have to drink? Some weren't satisfied and kept trying to persuade me, so I just stood up and walked out of the bar. Nina followed me out, apologized, and offered to drive me home. She said her friends were used to doing whatever they wanted, and that I shouldn't pay them any mind. That was when I made it clear to Nina that I wouldn't associate with her friends anymore. Meanwhile, the group chat was still buzzing. They were going on about how the goody-goody guy goes to bed early and wakes up early, like someone from a different time. Not to be rude, but is this guy not from some ancient tomb or what? It's like he's been a puppet for so long he takes pride in it without realizing he's lost his sense of self. He goes for a run every night. I hear his mom arranges this. He really is a mommy's good boy, isn't he? By this point, I was sure Nina either couldn't understand things or just couldn't explain herself clearly. I distinctly remember not saying it that way. That night, after dinner, Nina insisted on driving me to the beach. I turned her down, saying I had to run that night. I had a weak immune system growing up, catching colds often. The doctor advised exercise, and running, being the simplest form, became a habit since I was in elementary school. Back then, my dad used to run with me. After sticking with it for over 6 months, I noticed I was much healthier and hardly caught colds anymore. Since then, running became a long-term habit. I used to run daily, but when I started grad school last year, the workload increased sharply, and I had to practice the piano too. Concerned about my exhaustion, my dad suggested running just 3 times a week. I found I preferred night runs. They helped me sleep better and avoided me sweating it out in the morning and having to shower before class. Nina's invitation was on a Sunday that week. With a paper due, I had only managed 2 runs. Sticking to 3 runs weekly is non-negotiable for me, so I needed to clock that 3rd one on Sunday. I declined Nina's beach plans and shared my routine with her, but in her friend's story, it became a task assigned by my dad that I dared not defy. Even if I told them that running is something I genuinely enjoy, that I'm preparing for a half marathon this year, they probably wouldn't believe it. I chose to stay silent. Explaining things to people like them is a waste of breath. They're set in their ways, refuse to listen, and consider themselves independent-minded, even smug about it. Like now, they're convinced I'm a daddy's boy. They think I'm fake and pretentious. Never mind that getting to know someone requires effort, and they've only seen me briefly a handful of times, barely exchanging words. How can they possibly judge who I am? The chat was still buzzing with activity. Goody-goody guys are pitiful, being so controlled in everything. They gave their opinions. Apparently he's played violin for over a decade, never slacks, forced to take exams. So tragic, right? From a fancy private school to a regular high school, all at his parents' command. Later on, his elder brother chose his college for him. Does he even have a mind of his own? Can't he take control of his life even a little? Well, he's got to have brains to get into one of the top universities in the country. Can you guys match that? No way. But we don't care. Only a goody two-shoes would study just to please their parents. We don't need to please anyone. We just want to live freely. Reading these comments, I couldn't help but let out a small laugh. This is what it means to follow the crowd. When I was in middle school, I really did attend one of those so-called elite private schools, but in less than a year, I realized it wasn't the kind of learning environment I wanted. The kids there didn't feel any obetini academic pressure. They just treated studying as a minor extra to their lives. So I asked my parents to transfer me to a public middle school. Here, everyone followed a routine. Nobody talked about where to hang out or compared limited edition clothes or toys. Life was simpler. I loved the pure focus on learning here and adapted quickly. Later, when I aced my high school entrance exam as the top student in the city, I didn't choose another elite private high school. Instead, I went straight to a top public high school. For my college entrance exams, I did as expected, scoring pretty much what I anticipated. My older brother was ranked 3rd in the province for sciences back in the day. He knew a lot about different colleges and had experience with college applications, so when it was my turn to choose colleges, I sought his advice. Thanks to him, I picked the right school and major. I'm really thankful to my brother. He did tons of research to help me out. As for sticking with the violin and running, those are just my personal interests. When I was a kid, my parents didn't know what I liked, so they signed me up for all sorts of after-school classes. I tried drawing, piano, roller skating, violin, singing, hosting, taekwondo, swimming, and more. My parents said I just needed to find the ones I truly enjoyed and stick with them. In time, I dropped the others, but the violin stayed. I loved the sound of it and felt that playing it while standing looked elegant. My parents said that since I chose it, I had to stick with it, and couldn't. Quit halfway. I agreed. Sometimes it felt tough with all that homework and violin practice, but whenever I thought about giving up, my mom would gently encourage me, rewarding me and urging me on. And just like that, I stuck with it for over 10 years, passed all the levels, and even performed in some concerts. I felt the magic of music more deeply. I'm so glad I never gave up on that interest. I have a family that truly loves me and respects my opinions. In such a loving family, I've always felt incredibly happy. So how did they manage to turn my life into some puppet show in their words? What gives them the right to insult me and my family like that? I know my family is good to me. Deliberately going against them in the name of being individualistic just isn't me. I can't bear to let my family, who genuinely love me, feel disappointed or hurt. The group chat was still full of mockery when Nina finally spoke up. I got a new boyfriend now. You guys give me a break and stop talking about my ex. The chat quickly shifted topics. Is it that cute guy who asked for your number at the cafe? He's cool, very down to earth. I once saw him drink, and he's genuinely outgoing, much better than that goody two-shoes guy. Nina, next time, bring him along. We love a good laugh, not those stiff guys. Just to pacify that guy, Nina even met him at the library. Ridiculous! How did Nina even manage that? A library date. Poor Nina, get her some good food to make up for all that. I just couldn't understand it. What's wrong with a library date? Isn't that what college students do? Study together at the library? At that time, I was super busy with coursework and spent every day at the school library. Nina said she'd join me there, and I never forced her. She even mentioned that quiet dates were novel, and she enjoyed watching me study. I love spending time with you even more, she once told me. It gives me a steady, comforting feeling. I've even turned down friends who wanted to hang out for your company. To be honest, I grew tired of noisy hangouts. At least that's what she told me. Her eyes, full of affection, seemed sincere enough. Turns out she was just pretending to like how I was. I can't wrap my head around it. I've always played by the rules, loved learning, been polite, respected my elders, and never bothered anyone, yet this group of spoiled rich kids looked down on me. Maybe we just think differently and can't relate to each other. I didn't want to waste another minute with them. A bunch of jerks, get lost! I angrily dropped a curse in the chat, and then I left the group. Then I blocked Nina too. Life returned to its peaceful state. Classes, piano practice, running. It was all simple yet fulfilling. Nina and I never crossed paths again. I occasionally heard small bits about her through friends. After me, her next boyfriend only lasted a month. She dated a few more guys, none of them for long. She abandoned her sister's company after a fight, ran off, and never went back. She claimed she wanted to start her own business, got some cash from her dad, and first invested in an amateur sports team. The team lasted a year, guzzled money like a thirsty beast, and eventually disbanded without any success. She then sweet-talked more funds out of her mom and recently started a racing club. She bragged about making it the best in the country. Her group of rich kid friends either got bored or were in some kind of race to start their own ventures. I asked my brother if any of them succeeded in their businesses. "They're just dabbling, nothing big," my brother said dismissively. A moment of silence passed. Then he studied me. "You're not thinking about starting a business, are you?" I had just graduated with my master's and was in a job hunting phase. Quickly, I shook my head. "No way, I don't have that drive. Didn't I tell you before? I'm following my mentor's advice to stay at the school for a teaching job." My brother nodded. "Your mentor's experienced and a good judge of character. Listening to him is wise. Plus, your calm nature fits well with teaching. Less fuss that way." Hesitantly, I added, "You've always given me pocket money, and I've saved quite a bit. I was thinking about a safe investment, hopefully something guaranteed. Any advice?" "Guaranteed?" My brother chuckled. "Kind of greedy there, aren't you? Even I'm not sure about guaranteed investments. I wasn't being greedy. I just thought letting the money sit seemed wasteful compared to steady investments, even if the returns were modest, as long as it was better than bank interest. After some thought, my brother chose his words carefully. You've finished your master's. It's time to step into the real world. So, it's been over a year since things ended with Nina. Have you really moved on? I blinked. Who's Nina? Can't remember. My brother laughed. That's good. Are you still against blind dates? I'm never against blind dates. It's not that we're pressuring you to get married. We just see how you are. You enjoy being on your own too much. According to me, Mom and Dad, if we don't help, years might pass, and you still won't find a girlfriend on your own. That's true. I've always been content by myself and lazy about meeting new people. Last time, our professor arranged a mixer with 3 universities for grad students, but I got so into reading I completely forgot to go. The professor wanted to kill me when he found out. My brother poked my forehead. I want to slap you too. Can't you be a bit more proactive and get a girlfriend? I pouted, grabbing his arm. Isn't that why I have you guys? If you help pick, I'll go to all the blind dates. All of them? He raised an eyebrow. How many times do you want to go on a blind date? Do we have nothing else to do but pick dates for you all day long? Well, just one for now, I admitted. I actually have someone in mind. Their family's not well off, but they're incredibly talented, and they're a whiz at investing. Even if nothing romantic happens, you'll gain a new friend. An investment whiz? Now you've got my interest. Set me up for tomorrow. I went to this blind date thinking I'd just meet this investment genius, but surprisingly, I ended up really liking them. Helena's got a kind of star quality look. She's different from Nina. Nina always had this boldness in her face and attitude. Helena, on the other hand, looks young but carries a calm, steady vibe. I figured someone like her might be quiet and not talk much. Instead, during our meal, over an hour, she was the one doing most of the talking. She spoke clearly, calmly, with a deep, magnetic voice that just draws you in. You've got an incredible amount of knowledge. No wonder you're a Harvard grad. I couldn't help but compliment her. Throughout the conversation, she didn't miss a beat in responding to anything I said. Even when I got into the specifics of my field, she knew the big names, even familiar with some contentious paper that recently came out. Aren't you into finance? How come you know so much? I asked, wide-eyed. We in investments read broadly, and, well, I just pick up a lot from the news, she replied humbly. Nice meeting you today. After learning about investing, I'll probably steer clear. It's beyond me, I joked. No, I think you're smart. You catch on quick. If you did get into it, you could make a real mark, she insisted. Thanks, but I don't have the energy, I waved it off. If I find a good project, not too big, want me to loop you in? Absolutely, consider me on board. So, can I see you again? She asked cautiously. Of course, this blind date went well, thanks to my brother, really, for setting us up. I genuinely liked her, and wanted to keep it going. Hey, don't I seem a bit familiar to you? She asked. I examined her face thoroughly, furrowing my brow. Now that you mention it, yeah, sorta. Did we meet before? Back in middle school, on the rooftop of Building 2, she hinted. I racked my brains until I suddenly remembered. You're the upperclassman who was having a tough time. Old memories resurfaced. Every lunch, the classrooms burst with noise, like the students wanted to blow the roof off. I sought quieter corners to read in peace. One day, up on the rooftop, I saw her sitting on the railing, her legs dangled over, swinging slightly. One small jump, I thought. She'd be like a butterfly drifting away. It terrified me. Upperclassmen, don't do anything reckless, I cried out, trying to calm her down. Why did I say upperclassman? Being a freshman, she likely was a year or two above. Turning back in the light, she was a bit shadowed, but strikingly pretty. You're so good looking. Looking in the mirror should cheer you up. What's so bad you can't get over it? My words tumbled out clumsily. Oh, what other traits do I have to offset my sadness? She challenged me, trying to sway her from the edge and feeling the weight of possibly saving a life. I scrambled, showering her with compliments. Upon listening to my jumbled praise, she chuckled softly. She turned, hopped off the rail. Oh, and you're the tallest girl I know my age. Another giggle. All right, I'll listen to you. No stupid acts. She left, leaving me basking in having saved a life. Looking at her calm face, I couldn't believe she once felt that way. Back then, were you really hurting? I asked. Helena's so composed and strong now. Just how deep was her pain back then? My brother mentioned her family's struggles when setting me up on a date. Family's Ottawa background's a factor, he had said. That was her only flaw. Nina's father was known for spoiling wives and neglecting mistresses. He's scarier than those wealthy guys who switch partners and spoil others. At least those guys only care about their own pleasure. Her dad is famous for being passionate, but not with her mom, his legal wife. It's with his mistress. When she was in elementary school, her dad found true love. He caused chaos trying to divorce her mom for this true love, but since her parents had a political marriage, both families intervened, and they stayed in this limbo for years. By the time Helena was in middle school, her parents finally divorced. Now that I think about it, when I met her on the rooftop, it was right after her parents' divorce. I figured she might have been suicidal because of it. Unexpectedly, Helena laughed, saying, I looked for you afterward, but they said you transferred schools. Yeah, I felt the school's vibe wasn't great for learning, so I transferred. I actually wanted to tell you that day I wasn't trying to jump. Then why were you on the railing? That's crazy dangerous. She replied, There's a platform below. There's barely more than a meter down. You wouldn't even get hurt. I was just in a good mood because of the divorce and wanted a quiet place to relax. You felt good about the divorce? I've been hoping for it. They only tortured each other being together. I never cared about that man. Why would I harm myself for him? He's not worth it. Why didn't you say so when I tried to talk you down? My bad. You looked so worried, it was kind of cute. I wanted to tease you. I meant to apologize, but you moved away. All right, you're forgiven. Talking with Helena was fun, and we exchanged contacts. We kept chatting like we couldn't stop. From hobbies to career plans, we talked about everything. She joked about wanting to date a teacher. Lying in bed, thinking about that text made me smile. Just as I was about to reply, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I hesitated, but picked up. Liam, can we meet tomorrow? It was Nina, whom I hadn't heard from in a while. No, I declined immediately. If you don't, I'll wait for you at your school every day. Are you threatening me? How could I? She chuckled bitterly. I'm just asking. Could we meet? It's been over a year since we broke up. There's no need to meet. Fine, then I'll come to your house tomorrow. I didn't get why she insisted on meeting, but I didn't want her stalking me, so I agreed. We arranged to meet at the same cafe we used to go to. Get to the point. I don't want to waste time. Nina still looked stunning, but I couldn't be bothered. Did you go on a blind date? She accused. Yeah, you're still as spineless as ever. Your brother sets you up and you go. Why not? He picks a good match for me, better than I'd pick myself. You're a person. Why let your family control you? They love me and have my best interests at heart. Who else should I listen to? I like them arranging my life. You're hopeless, Nina gritted her teeth. And what's so great about Helena? I was surprised how much her criticizing Helena got under my skin. Your family's picture perfect, yet you play around. That was my last party. I was going to settle down with you after. Am I supposed to thank you for that? I sneered, frustrated. Nina raked her fingers through her hair. Liam, how could you end things so easily? I was taken aback. Joining their friend group was met with sarcasm. I just don't get why they think I'm head over heels for her. Nina, I don't love you. We've only known each other for 6 months, from blind date to nearly engaged. How much love could I have? Impossible. She countered, listing all the thoughtful things I did. I admitted, but it was all from a book on romance I read. Initially, I wasn't opposed to Nina. Her family was a huge plus. Her parents were famously in love. I thought she'd have a decent outlook on relationships. I wanted to do good in this relationship, but I didn't know how to be a boyfriend. I learned from a best-selling book. I lacked the heart-rushing feelings the book described, but tried hard to be a good boyfriend. I had no idea my efforts made her believe I loved her deeply. Maybe I was too good at it. I calmly explained all this to Nina. She shook her head in disbelief. How could you not care? I've waited over a year for you. I laughed while seeing other guys. It was fake, a show to make you jealous. We're not right for each other. You love the party life. I like quiet. We aren't in love, so what's the point? I can't help loving you, Nina said, tearing up. With a bitter smile. You love me? That's ridiculous. I rolled my eyes. If only you weren't my blind date, maybe I'd be less opposed. She regretted her choices. I just didn't want to be told who to marry. So you're being rebellious for no reason? I really can't get it. You're in your 20s, yet you're still so immature. Doesn't it bother you that they control everything about you? Nope, not at all. It's not about control. It's care. I actually enjoy it when my family fusses over me. Nina gave a bitter smile. Maybe it's just me who's not mature enough. I keep going against my parents and can't admit I like you. If there's nothing else, can I go? Now? I interrupted her, not wanting to hear any more. Liam! She suddenly grabbed my sleeve. I'm sorry. I'm just a coward who can't even show my feelings for you. They all say you're a fake goody-two-shoes wearing a mask. That's why I don't dare admit I like you, fearing they'd laugh at me. Honestly, I had a good impression of you at our first blind date. I might act like I'm criticizing how uptight you are, but actually I loved spending time with you. After you left, I'd visit the library whenever I had time. I fell in love with the quiet atmosphere there. I envy your self-discipline, how you got into a top school, and how you earnestly pursue your passions. It took me a while to realize those who bad-mouth you are just jealous, like me. They envy you can do what they can't, so they put you down because of their dark minds. When she said all this, I was a bit surprised. Turns out that's how they really think. But honestly, I don't care what kind of people they are. Our paths won't cross again. Done talking? Then I'm leaving. As I headed to the cafe door, Nina shouted, Do you think I'm like a clown? I ignored her and left right away. In my mind, I thought, not just like one, she is one. Helena found out I met Nina and got a bit jealous. You're not still hung up on her, are you? Normally calm, she was surprisingly flustered. I chuckled. There was never anything to hang on to, was there? Only then did Helena fully relax. We've been dating for half a year, which made everyone think I was head over heels for her. I said I never really loved her. Don't you think that's fake? I curiously asked. She shook her head. You treated her well because you valued the relationship and were genuinely trying to make it work. In a relationship, character is more important than love. I just see a guy making great efforts for his feelings and doing his best to maintain it. Honestly, I envy Nina for being treated seriously by you as a girlfriend. But I must confess, right now, I only have a crush on you. It's far from love. I said, a crush? That's great. It means my starting line isn't worse than Nina's, and that's enough. Helena was all smiles. We'll take it slow. Feelings can be nurtured. I nodded. I agree with that, hoping we build a strong bond. After being with Helena for more than 6 months, we got engaged. She actually proposed to me directly. And even though I like her, I turned her down. I felt it was too soon for marriage, since we hadn't known each other that long. Helena, not to be stalled, insisted on at least getting engaged. On our engagement day, I spotted a familiar face. A guy named Marco. He actually called Helena his sister. After I pressed her, Helena admitted she had Marco approach me. She explained that after her parents' divorce, she quickly moved abroad with her mom, but always thought of me. When she came back, seeing I was with Nina, she felt her world shatter. If that girl was worthwhile, I'd accept it bitterly. But from what I found, she's just a spoiled rich kid, bombed her college exams entirely, sent abroad by her folks to get a bogus degree. How could that kind of trash be with you? That's why you had your brother get close to me and trash-talk Nina daily. Helena sighed. Marco's such a simpleton. His intentions were too obvious, making you suspicious. I couldn't train him well. He drives me crazy. I shot her a look. So you already had your eye on me back then, you little creep. I smoothed things over and denied it. No, back then it was just a vague good impression. Later I even forgot what you looked like. Seeing you again after coming back was when love truly started. How did you charm my brother into arranging those dates? I didn't dare charm. Wasn't it just my talent on display? Blame me for being impressive. Winning your brother's approval? Do you have any idea how many great projects I had to pitch to get near him? Jealous? Of course not. It's all in the family anyway. Someone's gain is all that matters. Soon after we got engaged, Nina popped up again out of nowhere. She started showing up all over, seriously bothering my life. Her car would be downstairs when I left in the morning. She'd be hanging around the cafeteria when I'd grab lunch. Even when I went out with Helena, she'd trail not too far behind. Let's take a trip, I told Helena. Consider it a post-engagement mini-honeymoon. You've got the time? For you any time, Helena said. But I don't want you traveling out of pressure. If you're worried about Nina clinging on, let me find something for her to do. Keep her busy. Nah, just want to travel with you. We haven't gone on a trip yet. Helena perked up. I'll book the tickets now. We'll leave tonight. After our trip, I was a bit worried Nina might pop back up. Thankfully, it seems she's dealing with her own troubles now. Her racing club had a fatal accident. Apparently, during a previous race, a car flipped on a mountain road, and the driver died on the spot. The driver came from a notable family too, and they were adamant about suing Nina, refusing any settlement. 3 months later, Nina's verdict came in. 3 years in prison. Not long after her sentencing, a friend of hers also got into trouble. That friend who once called me a simp in the group chat opened a bar and got busted for illegal drugs. She's also facing jail time. After these incidents, the group they used to hang out with kind of fell apart. Some folks got scared by what happened to those two and decided not to mess around with businesses anymore. They just went home to live an easy life. Others had families who worried they'd get into trouble, so they were sent abroad. Those spoiled rich kids who used to look down on me for listening to my family all got a reality check. They've all started behaving, more well-behaved than me even. Later on, I went to visit Nina at the detention center. Her parents begged me to. They said Nina desperately wanted to see me. Seeing how much they had aged, and thinking about how good they'd been to me, I couldn't say no. Sitting across from me, Nina didn't have that rebellious look anymore. She looked more mature. I picked up the phone, smiled, and said, "You finally look like an adult now." Tears rolled down Nina's cheeks. and she choked up. I was wrong. Seeing my parents' heartbroken faces during the sentencing made me realize how much of a mess I've made. They should have had happy, complete lives without me messing it up. Liam, you know I wasn't lying before. I loved you and planned to stop fooling around after our engagement. I wanted to leave those bad influences behind and learn from my sister about running a business. Then you found out about the bachelorette party and walked away without looking back. We were so close to you pulling me out of this mess. Why couldn't you just hold on a little longer? As Nina sobbed uncontrollably, I waited for her to calm down a bit, and then spoke slowly. Nina, you were 18 when you became an adult, and you were 23 when we met.
Nope.
It's no one's fault but your own for not growing up. I have no time to wait for you to mature, and it's not my job to help you do it. You're the only one responsible for your life. Without looking at Nina's regretful face again, I got up and left. Honestly, there was something I didn't say. I never regretted being with Nina. I'm an adult, and every decision I make is carefully considered. If I made a wrong choice, I could handle the consequences myself.
What just happened?
My parents introduced us because her family seemed great, but none of us expected that despite her parents' and sister's solid values, she'd turn out immature and spoiled.
And it tweaked out.
She was a part of my life that showed me the diversity of people. That relationship is in the past, and I won't look back because I still have a bright and sunny future ahead of me.
He's dead.
Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. You know, you can fucking go hang out with your nurses.
You tried so hard. Oh, that was great. You tried so fucking hard.
We're targeting objective Delta.
And got so far. Again.
We've lost control of Bravo.
You can go hang out with your nurses.
Stripper crashing out? No, I'm not fucking crashing out.
That's my job.
Yeah. I feel so seen. Yeah. It must not happen very often being a fucking knockoff Australian.
Oh, jeez.
Zinger!
We're targeting objective Delta. Keep this up and the fight is ours. Let's get it done.
He's trying so hard, alright. I like when he tried to call me champ last night.
Did you try to call her champ last
Yeah, I
night?
did.
Or did,
in fucking locals chat. She said, "Do you think that works on me?" I said, "Nope."
We're targeting objective Bravo.
At least you know. That little bird behind you?